Welcome to Skills on Sunday for June 14th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. Hey everybody, this week on Skills on Sunday, we're actually going to talk about a very timely feat because we referenced it a little bit yesterday in our Combat Saturday segment on the Great Axe. And this feat is called Great Weapon Master. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with the shoe if we can. All right, the Great Weapon Master in 5th edition is a feat that allows you to be more effective with heavy weapons. So you've learned to put the weight of a weapon to your advantage, letting its momentum empower your strikes. You gain the following benefits when you score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points. With an attack, you can make one extra melee attack as a bonus action. And before you make a melee attack with a heavy weapon that you are proficient with, you can choose to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll and add +10 to the damage. Okay, so that means that you can apply a lot of extra damage and basically do what in previous editions they called something like a reckless attack. Now, barbarians do have something in there. They have a feature where they are allowed to trade out and get advantage on their attack rolls, but in return they grant advantage to their enemies who are attacking them. But this is a little bit different. This is a straight up swap -5 on the attack to gain +10 on the damage. So that can be quite a lethal thing, especially in early levels where you're fighting enemies that don't have a whole lot of hit points. You can take them down a lot faster if, of course, you can manage to score hits with that -5 penalty. Now, this particular skill, or this particular feat, is new to 5th edition, but it has long roots that go way back. In fact, it goes all the way back to the original rule set for D&D. Because in the original rules, there was a whole section called Weapon Mastery. And this section is far too long for us to go into a lot of great detail about here, but suffice it to say that this lets you build a system whereby your characters could get more effective with weapons as they went. So, weapon mastery allows you to choose a certain number of weapons that you can master. And with fighters, they were kind of distinct from all the other classes. Fighters could start with 4 weapons at level 1 and go all the way up to 15 weapons at 36 level. And then if you keep playing after 36 level, which was essentially the level cap, then every 200,000 XP above the character's maximum experience level, you would gain another weapon. So then other classes would start off with 2 that they could basically choose. 2 weapons they could choose at first level, and they could have a maximum of 10 at 36 level. Okay, so levels of weapon mastery, number of weapon choices spent. If you don't spend any weapon choices, you're unskilled. Then 1 choice is basic, 2 choices is skill, 3, and then 5 is grandmaster. So basically, you could spend these weapon choices and gain mastery. You can also spend time and gold, or I think you also have to spend time and gold in order to do that. You can't just simply trade off um, the number of weapons you get to gain mastery in it. In addition to that, you have to give up 5 different weapons. So instead of having 15 weapons as a fighter, you're down to 10 weapons. And then if you want to be a grandmaster, you have to spend 12 weeks of game time training, and you have to pay a trainer 1,000 gold per week. So that's 12,000 gold pieces that it would cost to gain mastery. Now, of course, if you're a high level character, 12,000 gold pieces is not much. So then it goes all into who can train whom. So you have a trainer, and the trainer has to have a level of knowledge for the student. And, almost anybody with a basic level can teach somebody who's not trained at all. And then a grandmaster can train just about anybody, including other grandmasters, although it's rare that a new grandmaster can teach another grandmaster something they don't already know. Uh, then it goes into this whole section of uh, what happens, what you can gain, the benefits you can gain, and applying those benefits during combat. I mean, it's just pages and pages and pages and pages of this stuff. You get attack roll bonuses, and then you can impose despair upon your enemy uh, with mastery. Basically, by you know, it's basically by flourishing your weapon and making it obvious to your opponent that you really are skilled, so that they get scared of even wanting to fight you, and that affects their morale and makes them less likely to continue a fight and more likely to run away. Then let's see. This is, you see this table? I mean, it's like all kinds of weapon mastery. And it has things like, if you have normally a melee weapon, with weapon mastery, you gain the ability to use that as a thrown weapon more effectively, all that kind of stuff. Um, and special effects that you get, so you can start doing things like you can break your opponent's weapons, you can do charges, you can even have like an instant death effect, um, and then it's just uh, special effects table by weapon type. So there's effects for blowguns and nets and blackjacks and bolas and whips and so on and so on and so on and so on. So um, all kinds of different things that 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 you can do with the weapon mastery in the original version of D&D. And of course, very much more comprehensive and very much more detailed than 5th edition. All right. So then we want to go and move over to 2nd edition. AD&D did away with all that stuff. All of those rules from original D&D really didn't make it into AD&D. But in 2nd edition, they introduced a system called proficiencies, and um, each class group. Um, so there are classes called warriors classes, the wizard class, the priest class, and the rogue class, and that was basically groups of classes. So warriors might include barbarians and might include uh, paladins, and priests might include druids, and wizards might include sorcerers and warlocks, and rogues would include things like bards and monks and stuff. So you would get initial weapon proficiencies, and then however many, every third level, you would gain another one for warriors. Every sixth level, you would gain one for wizards, and so on and so forth. And then weapon proficiency measures your character's knowledge and training with a specific weapon, and it controls things like how many attacks you can make per round if you specialize in a weapon. If you're a fighter level 1 to 6 and you specialize, you can get 3 attacks every 2 rounds with melee weapons, and then all the way up to uh, 4 thrown darts per round um, if you're if you have a proficiency with darts. And then there's additional effects of these. And then there's related weapons bonus. Um, and all of this kind of other stuff that you get. And then there's costs associated with specialization and whatnot. So that brought back some of that weapon mastery from the original rules and streamlined it a little bit and incorporated it into second edition. Then we have third edition, which is the edition where they actually introduced feats that started to um, break these big, long wall of text things out into more granular little gems. So in third edition, you had weapon focus and weapon specialization. And weapon focus was the proficiency or was the feat you had to take first. And then you had to take additional feats to build up kind of what you wanted to do. So with a weapon focus, you gain a +1 on attack rolls. Um, with weapon specialization, you gain a +2 on damage rolls. Then with greater weapon focus, you gain another +1 on attack rolls. And with greater weapon specialization, you gain another +2 or damage bonus on with the particular weapon. So that is how this worked in third edition. And then in fourth edition, you had just a single weapon focus and a weapon proficiency. Now you could take those multiple times, but there was nothing stacking. It just meant that every time you took that weapon focus, you got a focus for a new weapon, and every time you took the proficiency, you got it for a new weapon. So this was a little bit flatter curve than the other third edition was. Okay, well that's going to do it for our discussion of Great Weapon Mastery. If you like the content that we post here on this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. And if you click the bell, then you will also get notified every time we upload a new video to the channel. This has been our discussion of the Great Weapon Master feat. Come back tomorrow when we will be here for Monster Monday, and we will talk yet again about another monster out of the Guilds of Ravnica set, House Demir, that I threw at my players in the Walker of Waterdeep campaign. If you have any thoughts on the Great Weapon Master, if you've used it, or if you just like one of the other rule sets that they used to use in older editions, let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to see what people think about this. And as always, in the description of the video, you'll find all the ways that you can follow me on social media and all of that sort of good stuff. All right, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you later. Good night, everybody.